Good afternoon, traders. How we doing? This is Mitch Hoch here with the Benzinga SPACs attack. Here, I got my sidekick here, Chris Katje here. This is the man, the brains behind the show. The reason why we're doing this at the end of the day is so that we can get you guys the information that you guys need to trade in the SPAC industry. So I'll go ahead and introduce here. This is Chris, guys. Chris, say hello, guys.
Hey, guys.
All right, guys. So let's go ahead and get into the watch list today. So we're going to get you into first things first, guys. Definitely hit the like, hit the subscribe below. We're going to do this every single day at 11. And if you guys want to talk SPACs, join in, guys. All right, guys, let's go into our watch list today, our first segment. Let's go right into it. All right, guys. So first things first, we're going to go into a watch list here. Every single week, we're going to be going through a watch list. We're not going to touch every single stock every single day, but what we're going to do is we're going to work our way through these watch lists. And also, we can add stocks that you guys like. So if you guys like one of these stocks, definitely let us know which one you want to go ahead and see, and we'll definitely review it. So let's go ahead and go to Chris here and go to the first stock here. So first stock we're going to talk is VLDR. So let us know a little bit about this one, Chris.
Yeah, so Velodyne LiDAR, it's the first public pure play in that LiDAR industry, which is growing huge, covers auto, several other industries. So they reported earnings last week. So revenue was up 137% to 32 million. But they also signed lots of new contracts, and they're seeing strong demand for that product. So they shipped lots of their sensors, and they have 175 pipeline projects covering 25 industries. So they're forecasting $101 million in revenue for the full year. And again, growing at triple digits. They've got a strong pipeline of deals. So I really think that's a former SPAC, that people should be watching as that industry grows.
All right, the old mute trick here. So let's go ahead and let's get into some of the other stocks here on the watch list. The next one we have is a really popular one. I know that you've heard about this one, Chris. Ride. That's Lordstown Motors. It looks like it's not having a bad day. We're up about 2%. This one really started dipping down a little bit here in late October and early November. I know a lot of people are watching this one also with Workhorse. So what do you know about this one, Chris?
Yeah, so Lordstown Motors, popular SPAC, electric vehicle play. So they have a truck that they're working on. It was actually highlighted by President Trump, showcased on the White House lawn earlier this year. They have a former General Motors plant in Ohio that they're working on production out of. And people are staying interested in that name as it builds out that production of that truck and becomes that electric vehicle play that everyone wants to be invested in.
Yeah, I definitely would agree. You know, at the end of the day, they're just starting out. But what I like about Ride is that at least they have some orders. You know, a lot of these SPACs are more kind of pertain to prototypes or ideas that they're going to get into or something they're going to acquire. I think at the end of the day, this company knows what it's going to do. And I think that alone is going to help itself out here. All right, so let's go into another one, kind of related in the same field here. Let's go to Fisker. It's FSR here, guys. This one's really been on the rise. I mean, you look at the 3-month chart and you keep bottoming there at the 14. It broke out from that $12. So let's see, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, so Fisker, pure play electric vehicle play. Henrik Fisker is leading the company. He worked at Tesla. He designed vehicles for BMW and other companies. He has a strong name recognition in that industry. So they completed their SPAC deal, became on the New York Stock Exchange last week, got a ton of mentions on CNBC, and the stock really kind of took off then just with the publicity surrounding that. An analyst was out with the price target this week of $20. mentioned that influencers are being signed to really help promote the brand. So they have 9,000 pre-orders right now. That analyst thinks that that number is going to continue to rise with the publicity and the influencers getting behind the brand. This is going to be a popular one. When Fisker was on CNBC, he talked about how they're going to be the only other pure play electric vehicle company in the US that's publicly traded, along with Tesla. So they're going to get that comparison to Tesla for a while. And I think this is one that people should be watching again as it's going into production. They have a deal signed with Magna, one of the largest auto partners. They're going to produce the cars. So Fisker's going to focus on the design, the marketing, and they're not going to have to deal with the production or anything. So, and that's a strong name with them getting attached with Magna. So I think this is a strong play going forward.
Definitely, Chris. I mean, you're the guy with the information, so I definitely go to you all the time to ask about any of the SPACs that are in the industry. So let's go ahead and let's look at another one here from our watch list. This one was actually commented here by Mac. He wanted to check out IPOC. All right, let's go ahead and check out that one right there. Let's pull up IPOC here. I'm not too sure about this one. I don't know too much about this one. Can you fill me in on this one, Chris?
Yeah, so IPOC, it's another SPAC from Chamath. He wants to take IPOA to IPOZ public. This one jumped a little bit when it was announced, and since then has really calmed down. So you see it trading below that $10 mark. So they're merging with Clover Health. It's a Medicare Advantage company. They're going to work on rapidly expanding their program across the country. So currently only in 34 counties, but in those counties they have 8% market share. They've shown proof of concept that the territories they enter, they can gain market share fast. They're growing 3 times faster than the industry. So with Medicare, this is another potential Joe Biden play. So Biden did not run on a Medicare for All plan that some of the Democrats ran on during the election, but he does want to lower the age of Medicare, and he is seen as more friendly to the Medicare industry than the current presidency. So this one's below 10. They haven't announced the vote date yet, but this is one where once the deal goes through, they change the name and really become that Medicare play. I think it could get a lot of attention and could go higher.
Always like your approach to looking at things here. The next thing we're going to get into today, guys, we already go ahead and hit some of these top stocks. The last one I want to touch here is Helion. The reason I want to touch Helion is because, as you can see from Benzinga Pro, letting us know that we have earnings one day from now on Thursday, November 12th, before the market opens. So definitely, you can see this one's probably going to be on watch today. What do you know about Helion Holdings here?
Yeah, so Helion's another popular former SPAC. It really got a lot of attention, shot up, when that deal was announced. And since becoming, known as Helion with that new symbol, shares have traded lower. This is a stock I've actually owned for a while. They're working with the Class 8 trucks, so they're going to retrofit them to make them zero emissions. And this is another potential Biden play. So, and you're seeing states like California work to go to zero emissions. This is one of those companies that's going to make that happen. So instead of focusing on hydrogen power, which you hear like Nikola and others talk about, where they would have to build out their own infrastructure, create these hydrogen stations, this company already has infrastructure in place with the current stations across the US. So they're going to be able to sign deals, which they already have with these large trucking companies, and they can retrofit those trucks and, do the zero emissions. And they're also working on their own trucks down the road, which is another catalyst going forward. I love with Benzinga Pro, you can see right there earnings. The earnings numbers may not be the important part because, revenue isn't going to be that high, but it's going to be the comments from the company. So what kind of deals did they sign in the quarter? What are they looking forward to going down the road? Are they going to talk about the election at all and what that potentially means for the company?
Definitely, guys. And like always, guys, you can get it first with Benzinga Pro, guys. All right. So before we get into our second segment here, I'm going to go ahead and get into let's get into some notable headlines here from Chris. Chris knows the notable headlines. That's who we go to. So let's go ahead and go to Chris for these headlines. All right, Chris. So, what do you see out there today, and what's on the move? What do we need to know about?
Yeah, so notable headlines for this week. So again, SPACs have kind of slowed down a little bit with announcing deals, but there are a couple of potential rumors. So fully transmitting symbol BFT is in talks to acquire PaySafe. It's an online payment company valued at $10 billion. They're backed by Blackstone. This was reported by Bloomberg. So this could be a potential huge deal. That online payments space is growing fast. Churchill Capital 4, CCIV, is in talks to potentially acquire AT&T's DirecTV stake. So AT&T is working on shutting off assets, and one of those that they want to get rid of is the DirecTV stake. So Churchill has approached the company. This was announced a couple of days ago. There hasn't been a lot of recent activity, but this is one worth watching. It's a cord-cutting play. AT&T hasn't, been able to grow that business a ton, but, a different company focusing on it 100%, maybe they can bring new life to it. Fortress Value Acquisition, FVAC. So they are merging with MP Materials. So it's a rare earth mining play. Earlier this year, Trump signed an executive order to cut off or to produce more rare earth minerals, to cut off production and imports from China, since we rely on them so much. They are voting on that merger deal this Friday, and stock is up today. They actually got a mention in Barron's yesterday, which is a media company that tends to be able to drive the price of stocks. So that article was called "This Mining Company is About to Go Public." It's a play on electric vehicles. So again, they're getting that media attention. They're also tied to the electric vehicle industry. Those rare earth minerals are used for wind turbines and other important things in growth sectors. So that's definitely a stock worth watching. And then Tattooed Chef, TTCF. So they reported earnings on Monday. They saw revenue grow to $41 million, which was up 65% year over year. Their private label sector, $22.6 million, which was the third straight quarter where that private brand was actually ahead of, or their branded products was actually ahead of their private label brands. So they make plant-based food products for other companies, but they're really trying to grow brand awareness to their own product. They also spent $1.4 million in the quarter to promote their brands in a top club brand. So their products can be found in Target and Costco. It's gotten a lot of attention. Obviously, plant-based, you see a company like Beyond Meat get a lot of headlines as they work on that plant-based burger. This is a company not doing the burger, but they're doing plant-based foods, superfoods, and in that industry. So it's one that's growing. The stock has kind of taken off since the merger deal went through. After seeing those earnings, I really think it can keep going higher.
Yeah, definitely one that you definitely see on the chart bottoming out multiple times there near the 17 price point. I think that's going to be very vital for it. If it could hold back that 17 and get back above, we're definitely going to keep this one on watch. It's on our watch list, and we'll keep an eye on that one, Chris. Thank you for that one. All right, so now let's go into our last segment, and then we'll get into ticket time. I want to touch some of the upcoming SPAC here. I know that you know a lot about this one. So first things first, let's get a little. Let's unlock here. Let's get these SPACs unlocked here. All right, Chris. So let us know what's going on with this Shaquille O'Neal SPAC. All right, Chris. How's that Shaquille O'Neal SPAC going?
Yeah, so there's an upcoming SPAC, should be pricing soon. So Forest Road Acquisition, symbol is going to be FRX. Those units will be FRXU. So this one got a lot of attention. We wrote about it here at Benzinga. It's going to be the Shaq SPAC. So Shaquille O'Neal is going to be an advisor on this one. Shaquille, obviously, NBA Hall of Famer, great brand awareness, and he was an investor in Google in the early days. He invested in Ring before it was acquired by Amazon. He likes to invest and be a spokesperson for brands that he knows and brands that he likes. He's on the Papa John's board of directors. He attaches himself to things. So this SPAC's going to get a lot of attention, but also I think people need to look beyond that headline. So there are 3 former Disney executives that are going to be bringing the SPAC public. So we have Thomas Staggs, who was the chief financial officer at Disney from 1998 to 2010. He was part of that team that acquired Capital Cities and ABC, which of course brought in ESPN. He was also there when they acquired Pixar and Marvel. He was the chair of the Parks and Resorts segment. He really pushed the company to expand into China. And then Kevin Mayer, he was the former executive vice president at Disney. He was part of the ESPN unit. He was also part of the team that brought Disney Plus to people, which obviously is a big push for Disney. At one point, he was attached to be, the next in line for the CEO position. And then we have Salil Mehta. He worked at Disney from 1994 to 2008. He was in the ESPN division. He also worked at NBC and Fox. So again, you have 3 executives. They all worked at Disney. This is going to be a SPAC that looks after that media industry. You've also got Shaquille O'Neal. You're going to get a lot of attention. You've got that brand. He's not going to get involved in anything that he doesn't want to. So I think they're really going to focus on a growing company. And this is one where once it's announced, I really think it could take off. So I think that, once those units price, that's one that SPAC investors definitely need to be aware of.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're definitely on the lookout for these. So you have to, I think, try to get always ahead in the SPACs. At least from what I've been seeing in the pattern, after merger, you get questions, evaluations, and I feel like before, it's all about the board. With a board like Disney executives, Shaquille O'Neal, I'm definitely going to keep this one on my watch list. So we'll definitely keep an eye out for FRX here. All right, guys. So now we've come to the part in the show here where we're going to go in and do ticker time, guys. So let's go ahead and let's put some tickers in the chat here. So place your tickers down in the chat, hit the like for us and the subscribe below. We're going to start going through some tickers, and I'll let Chris let us know on what can we find out. All right, so let's go ahead and see what we have in the tickers in the chat. Let's go ahead and go to all right, guys. So for ticker time, we're going to, of course, use Benzinga Pro here. Let's go ahead and pull up some tickers from the chat. I know we had some a little bit higher up. I'm seeing here SBE. Can we take a look at SBE? All right, so Switchback Energy. So let us know, Chris. What do we need to know about Switchback Energy? I'm looking here at the chart. Let me take a look at this on the technical side. All right, so on the technical side, I always have this thing called the rule of 3 where I'm looking for 3 resistance tests. So you got a resistance test here, first 1650, an attempt to go above that 17. And now we're again going through the 17, looking to hold that 17. I think it's going to be very vital technically if we can hold that level and then get right back above that daily high. So definitely keeping this one on watch. What do you know about this one, Chris?
Yeah, so SBE, this is another SPAC that I own. I was asked the other day what I thought the best SPAC was going forward. This is the one that I named. So they are merging with ChargePoint. This is a electric vehicle infrastructure play. So kind of the thing behind the thing that we like to focus on here at Benzinga. It's a pick and shovel play. So they are building out those charging stations. So as Tesla and these other electric vehicle companies, sell more cars, everyone needs to charge them. Also, you have Joe Biden, who in one of his presidential debate speeches talked about building out 500,000 charging stations. This is a company that already has over 100,000 charging stations. They have major deals signed with cities, across the U.S. They have commercial deals, fleet deals. They can bring charging stations, direct to businesses. This is a huge play on that electric vehicle industry. Again, the thing behind the thing, and this is one that I really like going forward.
Yeah, definitely. Great mention there by I think it was Easy that brought that one to the chat. Let's go ahead and go to the next one here in the chat. Let's see, what else do we have here? Looking like I'm getting some. Oh, you know all about this one, Chris. IPOB here. IPOB. Let's go ahead and take a look here from James. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at technically, you got that rip out. Where did we stop at? We stopped at 26.36 here. Definitely, you came back to support. So that's why it's always important. You guys will hear me talk about this often. You got to know your levels. Let me go ahead and pull the banner down so you can see the chart a little bit better here. You got to know your levels. It's always about knowing support and resistance, and it's looking like this one bounced right off that support, trying to make its way back above 20. I think you got to keep watching this one to see if it can hold down here in the support of 17. Look for some volume, look for a catalyst, but definitely at the end of the day, you can see that some investors are willing to step in at the right prices. So what do you know about this one, Chris?
Yeah, so IPOB merging with Open Door. So this is an online real estate play. This was a SPAC that really took off when the deal was announced. Chamath was on CNBC for an hour segment, and it really turned into him talking about this deal and this company, going forward. So again, as we talked about IPOC with Clover Health, it's one of those companies where they're not in a ton of territories yet, but the ones that they are in have shown that proof of concept that they can grow market share. This is a highly segmented market, the real estate one, and it is shifting to online, not just through the pandemic, but going forward. This is a great play on that. Also, as we've mentioned here at Benzinga, so Cathie Wood behind the ARK ETFs, she has been actively buying shares in IPOB, and notable that she has actually been selling her Zillow shares as she accumulates IPOB. So there tends to be a shift there, whereas Zillow, was seen as possibly an online real estate play where they were buying properties directly from people. Now Cathie Wood is placing that bet on IPOB instead, doing the same thing, but possibly doing it better and being able to grow scale through the SPAC deal.
No, definitely. One thing is that Chris definitely goes and pays attention to some of those bigger buys and bigger sells. So he'll go ahead and find that information and bring it here for you guys. So let's go into the last one from the ticker here. I want to go into a recent IPO. One of the things of this show is that we're going to focus on SPACs, but we're not going to only be about SPACs. We're also going to touch some IPOs from time to time, especially when we have some new ones coming out or some prior ones that are getting hot. So let's go ahead and take a look here from the chat. I know we got one mentioned here, Adam Blunk, mentioning about what do you guys think about CRSR? All right, let's go ahead and pull up that one on our Benzinga Pro here. CRSR. So we're talking about Corsair Gaming here. This is one that I personally am still a little beating myself for not grabbing this one, guys. If you guys actually look at my Twitter, story investors down below in the description, you'll see that I was actually talking about this stock. And the reason I was talking about this stock is that when it IPO'd, I thought it was in the right environment, with gaming, definitely hot for the year. You had the consoles coming out. And another thing is that, and most people don't really think about this one, but they own a company called Elgato that they do a lot of streaming kind of devices and things like that. And I personally use these services and use these products, and I realized that it's the thing behind the thing. If we're going to get more into streaming, into gaming, accessories, I think this is definitely one that has a story to keep moving. Let's go ahead and take a look here on the chart. We're definitely pushing. You got some earnings that came out. Let's use Benzinga Pro. So the earnings actually beat the estimates here, 54 cents, and the estimate was 28 cents. So definitely a great beat there. And then you're seeing it also react in the stock. The stock pulled back there for a second on the chart. But now you're seeing definitely some strength into this one. This is going to be one that I'm going to be definitely keeping an eye on. I'll hope for pullbacks. I'm not really a fan about buying highs, so you got to be careful there. But what do you know about this one, Chris?
Yeah, so they just reported earnings, and those earnings were excellent. So 61% year-over-year increase in third quarter revenue. Their gaming and creator segment was up 129%. They actually had problems being able to keep products on the shelf. So they were selling products to those retailers, and they said that in the quarter, their stuff was flying off the shelf. So they're actually working on supply issues there, to where you could actually see revenue go much higher in the next quarter. You also have the new console releases from Sony and Microsoft this week. The company also did a couple tuck-in acquisitions to tackle that gaming and esports market in the quarter. Recent IPO that maybe wasn't priced high enough with this industry, growing that fast. I think the results really show that this is a great play in that video game, and esports market.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think this is just the beginning in gaming, period. And with that being said, if you really look at the industry overall, and especially in accessories, you're seeing Apple even step up in that kind of industry, and I've noticed that. I know that people noticed that the iPhone 12 didn't bring kind of the headphones. The truth is, the accessories, I think, are going to get hot. And that's where I think investors are seeing some return. So you got to keep an eye on these ones. Corsair Gaming, you could look at our lovely feature here on. So one of the things is that we can go and look up Logitech is another one in this industry that has been doing really well, has pulled back a significant one. So if you want to look at some that are pulling back, I see this Logitech one in that gaming industry also. There's a lot of plays here. So definitely look around, guys, and you'll be able to try to find some plays in the gaming industry. So that's going to do it for us today, guys. I'm really glad that you guys went and joined us today. I hope that you guys stick around every single day. Tell your friends about this show. One of the best things is that we're trying to get you guys the information that you guys want. So if there's a SPAC out there that you need some more information, or an IPO that you want to hear more about, definitely leave it in our comments after our show. We're going to go through it every single day, keep adding to our watch list, and keep building with you guys. So thank you for joining me, Chris. You're the man with the brains, the man with the plan. Definitely hit the like, you guys, for Chris coming with the information. And that's going to be it for us, guys. Chris, any final words?
No, thanks, Mitch. Looking forward to this show. Again, we're going to talk SPACs, IPOs. This was the first show, but go ahead, drop those tickers in the chat. We'd love to cover some more names so we can provide some of that commentary and, decide whether or not we want to add this stuff to our watch list going forward. We're also going to be bringing you some great interviews with some SPAC industry leaders and also some CEOs of those SPAC companies. So you're definitely going to want to stay tuned. So go ahead and like this video. You're going to want to subscribe to the Benzinga YouTube channel. Hit that bell for the notifications. Then you know when the show is on. So we're going to air at 11 a.m. Eastern time. But if you have the notifications turned on, you're going to get that alert when we go live. So, we're definitely looking forward to this. So again, drop those tickers and let us know, guys. Thanks.
And without a doubt, guys, and with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up today's show. Like always, guys, share this with your friends so that everyone can come into the SPAC industry and we can help each other continue growing in our education. All right, guys, so we're going to go ahead and leave it off with a Benzinga Pro promo right here. Like always, guys, if you guys want to try Benzinga Pro, you don't need a credit card. You have a 2-week free trial if it's your first time. So definitely hit the link in the description and check out Benzinga Pro, guys.